Recently, in the past few months, the topic of Looksmaxxing has become more well-known and entered the mainstream, with people like Clavicular among many others popularizing it. However, it has also become apparent to me that the lengths some go to in order to achieve it are at best questionable and at worst outright extreme and bad for your health, with the idea itself also being questionable. In this video, I will uphold my position and take a stand against Looksmaxxing, and will list 5 reasons as to why I'm against it. Let's begin. Reason number 1. It being very similar to simping. Looksmaxxing as an idea is primarily about changing yourself and your appearance in order to seek external validation, either from women, as is the case with many Looksmaxxers who originate from incel forums, or society in general. As a result, the idea places emphasis on external validation, and thus seeking said validation over internal validation acquired through real and meaningful self-improvement and self-actualization. Placing an emphasis on external validation to the point you change yourself and who you are, especially in terms of physical appearance, to appease others, and in particular women, instead of improving yourself for your own sake, is functionally simping. The MGTOW way, the men going their own way, is to try to get internal validation and self-confidence, and to simply pursue self-actualization on your own terms at your own pace. Looksmaxxing doesn't do that because it's about maxing or maximizing your appearance for the sake of others. While on paper Looksmaxxing and simping appear to be different things, they're both effectively cut from the same cloth and stem from the same underlying motivating factors. Reason number 2. The idea originating from incel spaces and forums. The fact of the matter is that Looksmaxxing as an idea originates from the same spaces and groups of people that have made wanting to get laid and not being able to, and thus thinking it somehow unfair, their ideology, and thus build communities online around it, for better or for worse. Meaning that this idea is influenced and shaped by these kinds of people. Incels are not people known for their willingness to self-improve or self-actualize, nor are they known for wanting to be single and living an independent life. And this is evident by the fact that incel is a combination of 2 words, involuntary and celibate. And involuntary here means they did not choose to be single and celibate, and they do not want to be single or celibate. This fact of the idea originating from incel spaces, combined with the previous fact of it being promoted for the purpose of appealing to women in order to be with them, and appealing to the rest of society in terms of their standards of looks and appearance, which I might add are quickly becoming unreasonable and unrealistic, and in effect seeking external validation, not being that different from simping itself, is why I'm against it and will always be against it. Reason number 3. It is not being focused on meaningful self-actualization and self-improvement. Looksmaxxing as an idea prioritizes your looks and attractiveness for the sake of others, including society, job opportunities, and women, which means it is for the benefit of others, not you. The point of any effort that one should undertake is to improve themselves first and foremost and self-actualize. This is what MGTOW, acronym stands for Men Going Their Own Way, advocates for. In order to do that, you need to put yourself and your own interests first. And in my opinion, you are not doing that if you're doing things meant to appease others. Meaningful self-improvement and self-actualization is about what's best for you as an individual and improving yourself to be the best version of yourself for your own sake. There is merit in improving one's looks, but it should always be for the purpose of improving yourself for your own sake and for the sake of your health and longevity, not for the appeasement of others and their interests. Self-improvement, as it is in the name, is about the self, not about others, and it's certainly not about women as the communities who invented the idea of Looksmaxxing want it to be. Reason number 4. It carrying significant health risks. Many of the Looksmaxxers, Clavicular in particular, have been known to engage in extreme lengths in order to Looksmaxx, engaging in all kinds of things from taking and using methamphetamine to ridiculous jaw surgeries and bone smashing, and also taking a hormone replacement therapy to do what he is doing. And I don't think anyone needs to have a medical degree to understand why such actions are completely insane and stupid, especially when they are undertaken to quote-unquote mog people, or meet the ever-increasing unrealistic expectations of men that society and even women to some extent tend to uphold, especially those on dating apps like Tinder and Bumble. I have to ask, and everyone else should also ask the same question, how does any of this benefit us men? How does it help us or serve us? How does it help us self-actualize or go our own way? For the supposed gains that Looksmaxxing claims to bring, are the costs and extreme actions to our health, both in mind and body, worth it? The answer to all of those questions is, in my opinion, a clear and decisive no. It is not worth it to go to such extreme lengths just to meet some arbitrary standards and to quote-unquote mog others. On the topic of hormone replacement therapy, while there are legitimate uses for it, including the treatment of the condition known as gender dysphoria in those that have it, Looksmaxxing is not one of those legitimate uses for it, so continuously injecting yourself with hormones with no other goal than to mog others or meet arbitrary standards is why I'm against Looksmaxxing. And finally, reason number 5, unrealistic beauty standards being normalized across the board. In recent history, we all saw how unrealistic standards of beauty, looks and fitness came for all of us, regardless of gender. For women, it was pressure to be as thin as possible and to not deviate from that, and for men it was to be as buff as possible, have 6 packs, and also be at minimum 6 feet tall if not more, where failure to accomplish any of that was seen negatively by society and punished. Looksmaxxing only made this problem worse, and what is also the issue is that it as an idea is not only accepted but promoted, despite the fact it does not help achieve meaningful self-actualization, and that there are big health risks, especially when the stated goal is to appeal to an increasingly untenable and unrealistic set of standards solely for the purpose of mogging others. Women revolted against their own set of beauty standards when the pressure was 10 times less intense and severe than what we men are facing now with Looksmaxxing, so there is no reason any one of us should accept it, promote it, or live by it. Any improvement towards one's looks, or beauty, and also health should be according to their own terms and in furtherance of their own self-interests, not the interests of others. To summarize my video, the reason why I'm against Looksmaxxing as an idea is because it's borderline close to simping, if not already simping, and because it's an incel-originated idea that, like all other incel-originated ideas, focuses on appealing to the outside and outsiders, and thus seeking external validation and approval by others, from others, over seeking internal validation and doing genuine self-improvement, and because of the fact that instead appealing to outsiders, it pushes unrealistic beauty standards which do not correlate with health or personal interests, and that also introduces many health risks, infertility potentially being one of them, where if this was not being done there would not be any, in particular with the case of testosterone HRT. With that being said, this has been Igor MGTOW and video games. Like and subscribe and click the bell notifications on YouTube if you enjoyed the video, and follow me on odyssey.com, MGTOW.tv, Twitter, and Rumble, and join my Discord server, and bye bye. Thanks for watching.